We're live.
Live from Missouri. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, bud?
Man, just it's cooling down a little bit. I'm looking forward to that cooler weather, man. Summer's been great, but it feels good right now.
Yeah, September's always a nice month around here. I hate to see summer go. I love summer, but you gotta love this weather when it starts to finally just kind of cool off just a little bit to where you don't have to die anymore to be outside.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, dude, it's good, and plus, that fall bite gets really good before too long.
Yep, they'll start feeding up pretty soon.
Man, we got a lot going on, a lot coming up. We're gonna wrap up this year, but there's still quite a bit going on.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got quite a few tournaments coming up. Let me get this posted up on MoYak. Have you shared this up yet?
I have not. I was doing that as well. Yeah, we got the river tournament this weekend, which that one's shaped up to be a really good series and really good to see the numbers of the guys that are showing up for those.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one because, I mean, we're going to be out in that eastern region. So that's got the most water, really, of all the regions, in the river series. And it's got some really great smallmouth fishing, too.
Absolutely.
And our guest we got on here tonight, Brandon Prince. He was the winner of our last river tournament in the western region.
I put it on Facebook when we talked about him coming on, and I don't think we ever brought him on for the championship from last year. He won Missouri State Championship, and then he also won the Bass Nation. So definitely a huge 2 wins for him last year.
Brandon's a hammer, man. He's probably one of the best anglers in Missouri. He fishes the Hobie B.A.S.S trail, KBF, gets into MoYak and stuff too. I mean, this guy is a true hammer, a great angler and a great fisherman. Great guy too.
Yeah, it was really cool hearing Keaton reach out for a kayak and Brandon be able to help him out and for that Stockton event. It's super cool, especially to hear from our guys doing that.
Yeah, that's just the kind of guy that Brandon is. I mean, let's bring him on here and let's talk about how he's been being successful on the water. Whether it be a river or lake on the Hobie or MoYak side. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for coming on here and having just sitting down and talking with us, man.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to be on here.
Hey, man, how did you become such a stud?
Just by luck, man. Putting in my time.
His mama made him that way.
I got on when Josh posted that we were going to bring you on tonight. I got on Tourney X and just looked at your angler page. Everyone's got an angler page on there, and depending on whether you pay for one or not, it gives you a lot of information what kind of angler. I mean, there's 12 first place finishes on here, man.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's the river stuff. I mean, I love the rivers, and in the past 2 years, I've really tried to figure out the whole lake deal, and trying to watch every video I can, learn from everybody that I fish with, just take in as much information, as I can, and make it my own, fish my own strategies. But
well, let's back up a little bit. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, what you do for a living, any good stuff like that, man.
Yeah, so I'm from Anderson, Missouri. I'm 31. Grew up here in Anderson. Grew up on the rivers and creeks around here. Started off wade fishing, stuff like that. Then jumped in a kayak, and it just all took off from there. But as far as what I do for a living, just a merchandising manager for Hawaii and Alaska for Walmart.
Man, if you lived in Anderson, there's not a much better place to be for wanting to wade creeks or float. I mean, you got the Elk, the Big Sugar, Little Sugar, Indian Creek, some good water down there.
Yeah, it's all here. I mean, there's all kinds. If you just want, even like Buffalo Creek, if you just want to go, wade something small, you're just getting into some like small fish. But sometimes it's just cool to catch those smallmouth and no water at all. It seems like.
Do you think that wading kind of helped develop you as an angler, to grow into fishing from a kayak versus being in the water walking around?
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, I used to, so like, always talk about how fish set up and, presentations and stuff like that, and it's the same thing on the river and, it's more consolidated, but like wade fishing, you really learn that how to pick stuff apart.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
learn how they're setting up. And another thing that really helped me, I used to love to like free dive and stuff in the rivers. I was growing up, so I'd always go in with goggles and I'd be diving under root wads and stuff like that. So you really see those bigger fish that you never knew they were there, but they're just sit so deep in those laydowns sometimes that you just got to figure out a way to get to them. And like on a river, some of those laydowns are really hard to get to, or
Mm-hmm.
that fish knows where to sit on the backside of that root wad to where you can't get to them.
Yeah, and some of those root wads, they've got a lot of current flowing through them on the creeks, and you might get washed right by it and not even really get to fish it unless you get out and maybe just fish it from the shoreline. When you come up to a tree like that, how do you attack it? How do you fish it?
So if it's sitting in the current, I'm not really worried about it. Just like you say, you're gonna blow by it. But I'm a fisherman that likes to cover water. Now, if that root wad is, say, just at the end of that, that current, and where it starts really getting to that slack water, that's where a lot of those big largemouth like to hold up, and I'll kind of slow down and fish something like that. But as far as that root wad, I like to, run a crankbait by it before I even get to it. Something to get close to it, try to get that reaction strike. But normally, just and it all depends. It could, certain situations, it's all different, what root wad you come up on, how you're going to fish it and stuff like that. But, I'd say 60-70% of them that I don't really turn around and try to fish too hard. Now, if there's like two or three, together that kind of create a little slack water, it's a different story. But it's just,
Yeah.
I
I'm
remember
kind
last year. I remember last year you at the state championship you fished that crankbait quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean that seems like it's tough to do in the river sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've I've grown up doing it. It's just all about the angle. All about getting that reaction bite. I try to cover a lot of a lot of water just to get that reaction bite from those bigger fish. You just learn kind of how to bounce that crankbait off a rock or a tree or stump or whatever it might be to really focus on that reaction bite. And even if you're not bouncing it off something, you're bringing it by something. A lot of sometimes you just kind of just wind and kind of not really fishing it, but if you can stop it right there at that tree, then take off with it, sometimes you can get that big reaction bite. That's where I really search for on the river, instead of trying to finesse fish that, I think a lot of people get stuck doing, downsizing and, on the river.
It's easy to get caught up in that when you're on like especially a really nice clear water creeks, a river like we have around here. You go by a tree laydown or something, and you can see 10 foot, 8 foot down in the water, and you see these monster fish swimming around there, and they have no desire at whatsoever to even touch your lure. They just laugh at you. I've tried. I've even told this to other people. I said, when you see those fish, don't even waste your time fishing for them because they're just going to laugh at you, man. But I mean, I guess some guys can pull them out of there. So that's what I guess I was going to ask you is, what do you do about those fish that are really holding tight down there at the bottom of those trees? Is there a secret trick for getting them out of there?
So so something like that, that I really work those fish, I'll pull back off that tree and those, it's really deep in there. I like to throw a big worm, 10-inch worm in the river. Don't hear that a lot, but that's one of my keys, and I'll bury that thing as far as I can, and those root wads or laydowns or whatever, on 17-pound test, and try to really pull that fish out of there. But as far as the fish like you're talking about that you're coming by, in the clear waters around here, it's a lot different. And that's where most of my techniques are kind of geared towards really clear water, and you come by those fish, they see you, you see them. I would say 1 out of 30 times that I might pull that big fish out of there, just by luck. And it's usually by best technique, but it's kind of hard. When you're fishing, like I said, I like to cover water, and, such clear water, you're pushing fish, 10 foot, 20 foot, 30 foot in front of you. So if you just keep covering water, you're going to get that reaction bite from that one fish.
Yeah, you can see it when you start to come to an end of a hole, when it starts to get skinny and shallow, and then all of a sudden you see fish swim back behind you, and they're going the other direction real quick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see them going by your kayak.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people, there's people that stand up, and in those clear rivers, I mean, I've learned from, all the stuff around here is as clear as can be, and you stand up and all of a sudden you just see fish take off from everywhere, so I've learned to stay sitting down, keep a low profile and, make a long cast, try to get that reaction back.
I agree too. I mean, I feel like a good rule of thumb is if you can see the fish, they can see you and you ain't catching them.
Yeah, for sure.
Brandon, are you going to fish this weekend?
Yeah. I'm going to head out there east, try to get my last tournament in for those AOI points. I've never been out, fished any of those rivers out there, so it should be interesting. See if that cover and water technique works.
Man, there's some good ones out there. Me and Chad went and explored the Big River, and we went by, the Big Piney and the Black. I mean, there's some beautiful rivers out there. You'd think when you start getting closer to St. Louis that it would get bad, but no, that's actually better. It's really some great water out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, the Current River, Merrimack, 11 Point, who's there? I don't even know how to say it.
These are legendary rivers. I mean, these are national. What's the word, Jonathan? You know what I'm talking about?
They're
the Mark Twain National Forest. They're nationally. They're cool rivers. Nice and naturey.
Yeah,
but you talked about the angler, the year points is really tight in the river series. I mean, John Denton and Jim Harding are like neck and neck right now.
5 points from each other. It's pretty cool.
Up there.
So Brandon, when you're fishing lake tournaments and river tournaments, are you using the same kayak or do you have something that's a little more agile in the rivers or anything like that?
Yeah, so on the rivers, I like to rock a Diablo Amigo. It's a really flat boat, really big deck on it. I can really get into those low water areas, and flow through some of those shoals a lot better. Around here, a lot of the rivers around here, they're not, Elk could almost be considered a creek to, some people's rivers, So like a lot of the rivers are really shallow around here, so that Diablo Amigo really helps me out. But I started rocking, bought my girlfriend a Minn Kota 106 Old Town, and man, that thing's been sweet. It's been real sweet. Freaking stable, gets through those areas. I can throw that motor down some of that slack water. It's like, I started on the Elk River this last weekend, and man, about 10 o'clock, all the people hit the river, and I just freaking threw that motor in, and every little area that I could freaking speed through, I was speeding through. And, every person I'd come by on a raft or, all those people, they've been drinking already since 9 o'clock. And they're like, just everyone would go by, cheater.
Yeah, that's Elk River for you.
Motoring through them,
Are you just paddling that Diablo, or is that pedal drive?
No, it's just a paddle. Yeah, just a paddle.
I just pulled it up. It looks like a sweet rig for the river. There's not a lot of, depth or anything to it, and it seems like a really good platform, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite platforms. I'm always a big fan of that open platform. I can say, like, once you get into like the rougher rivers, higher current, it's not the best. If you can kind of get caught, with your pants down if you let it go too far, you get too sideways, that water can come over the side. But it's as far as a just creek kayak, Elk River kayak, something like that. When the water's low, you can't hardly beat it, man.
I bet it probably drafts real shallow too, being that lightweight.
Oh yeah. 2 inches of water, you're getting through it.
That's this time of the year. That's a big deal because the water levels are all really low right now.
Yeah.
And so, what are you fishing out of for the lakes and whatnot?
So in the lakes, I have been recently fishing out with the PA14, but I just upgraded to the 360. Got me a little motor for it, and the whole 9 yards. So I got to fish the Stockton out of the 360, and man, that thing is sweet. If you can fish a lay down and, pedal sideways, pedal angle back and, really work those lay downs, it's pretty neat. I mean, I didn't catch anything hardly. I think I caught 4 fish up there that were like 8 and 10 inches, but, it was fun playing with it. I felt like I was doing something right.
Well, man, it sounds like you got a little kayak shop going on for yourself right now.
Yeah, for sure. Try
That's
to get,
cool.
something for every angle.
You got to have a fleet.
Yeah.
So what else you got on your schedule for the rest of the year as far as, MoYak and maybe some bigger tournaments?
Yeah. So hoping to pretty sure I'm gonna fish the All-American, fish all the championships for MoYak and the rest of those. Kind of hoping to squeeze in the TOC, for Hobie, kind of sitting right on the bubble this year. As far as the Hobie, it's been a rough year for me. I mean, I've been consistent, but been kind of consistent right on that bubble. So hoping to kind of squeeze in there, and then I think that's about it for this year. The big Bassmaster tournament, next year in March. Looking forward to that. Starting the year off with a big tournament there. So.
Yeah, speaking of the Bassmaster, we got the Missouri Bass Nation tournament coming up at the beginning of October. Are you planning on fishing that one too?
I'm not positive yet. I'd like to. I'm already qualified for the Bassmaster. I qualified there at Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Had a good event there and qualified for it. So I'm still trying to decide if I want to spend extra money to try to get my way paid.
I think Lance is already qualified too. I think.
Yeah, I'm about to buy a house. So trying to save every penny and dollar for that. So kind of pick and choose.
Yeah, I hear that for sure, man.
Hey, Brennan, talk to us about that Hobie series. I know there's not. I feel like Richie McMichael, he fishes some of those.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about that series, being on the national level compared to like KBF or some of the Bassmaster series?
Yeah. So I mean, me for the Hobie, when start off with, you're spending $260 to enter one of these events, and then the big draw for me is it's a 2-day event. I think the Hobie are one of the best ran. Bass is getting up there. Now too. They're kind of they got their feet wet, kind of figuring stuff out. But Hobie's been doing it for a little bit longer, and they've really dialed in on what the angler wants, and it's just one of the best run events that you can find. Say you send a fish in, and there's something wrong with it, something just maybe not right. AJ's just on freaking Facebook, any way he can get a hold of you to try to help you get a better picture. Say you got another picture or whatever, and then it's some of the best fisheries in the nation. You get to go and like Hobie's so good at there's some it might be a weather event or something like that kind of bring it down, but he's so good at picking the right area of the country for the best fishing, like Pennsylvania and River Series, it's phenomenal. A July event, guys are crushing 90 inches of smallmouth. You're talking like a 17 half inch smallmouth, or like 3.5 pounds, stuff like that you get to go and see, and it's just amazing.
I think they've pretty much risen to the top of the echelon. The Hobie B.A.S.S is probably the most elite pro series, kayak series there is right now.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can debate that for sure.
Yeah.
AJ's done a great job, man, with running that and getting it all going. And really, I've learned a lot from him too. He's set the bar as one of the best tournament directors in the country.
Yeah, for sure. And like, all that competition out there is, another thing that really drives me to see,
it's
where
the best of the best.
And then, also on top of that competition, a lot of those guys are making videos after, and you can really listen to them in those award ceremonies and like really figure out like what you might have did wrong and what you could have done better. Just, sometimes you just figure out how close you really were to, making it over that, making that next step or, whatever it might be.
And so Hobie's, is it no motors? It's either pedal or paddle. Is that correct?
Pedal or paddle. Yep. You can use your motor during pre-fishing, but it's pedal or paddle. So.
That's the only thing that's kept me from fishing them. I really
Yeah.
want to, but I'm too lazy anymore. I need my motor. I can't paddle.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame any guy, as far as, on that, if I didn't have, a good pedal kayak, I don't think I would make it. I'd be,
I get why they do it. I got no complaints. Just
yeah, for sure. It's driven by Hobie, and I get it. They do it. I mean, they do it right.
mm-hmm.
They gotta get something out of it.
Yep.
So All American later this year. You excited about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the All American. This last Truman event, I felt like I kind of figured something out up there. As far as like bigger fish. I've always, went to Truman and I was like, man, I can't get over that. It's like 16, inch threshold, I was like, I can get there right at 80 inches, but I just can't find those kicker fish, how they setting up, and so on and so on. I feel like I really kind of figured something out this last event up there. So
what'd you figure out?
Well, hopefully you guys find out the All American.
You gonna tell us on the stage? All right.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know on the stage.
There you go, man.
If not, I'll let you know what I thought I figured out.
Well, John, you got anything else left for him? Been on here about 20, 25 minutes now.
Man, I don't, nothing specific, man. Just, appreciate you having you on here. Like I said, it was really cool hearing about you and Keaton linking up and using,
yeah, for sure,
using your kayak. Keaton, he's a super nice guy, and unfortunately with his job, he's no longer here. But he's, I've fished with him, hung out with him, super nice guy. And for you to do that, that's awesome. He's
a really cool guy. We talked about hoping to get the hook up for the Hobie event next year. I'm hoping they go back to the Susquehanna up there and do another event up there. I was like, I'm gonna make it back for that trip, once in a lifetime. So make it a yearly event.
I really want to go there too. That's one place I would really love to go to.
It's phenomenal,
Man, the Susky, and seeing all the video footage from all the guys that competed up there, it looks like a beautiful river. It just looks like smallmouth heaven.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit, it can be a little bit overwhelming, but once you start figuring it out, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I caught like a couple 14-inch fish that I swear were bigger than any 18-inch fish I caught, right here.
That's a long drive though. It's
a
long ways up there. How long did it take you to get there?
It took me about 16 hours.
16 hours.
Yeah, and I stopped halfway in Ohio, and I'd do it again tomorrow, as good as that fishing was.
Wow.
I mean, if you could just catch one 17.5 fish up there, inch fish up there, it just those smallmouth and the way they fight, and I mean, literally a football, smallmouth in a river, you just don't find that.
Man, sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Brandon, is there anybody you want to say thanks to? Any sponsors, friends, family, anybody like that?
Yeah, so I always want to thank my family. My girlfriend, she's always supporting me. And everything I do. My dad and mom, always supporting me. They're always proud of me. Whether I finish first or last, or anywhere in between. And then Everhart's, they're always a huge supporter for me. I can't thank those guys enough up there. Gary and Jared and the rest of the crew up there. You walk in and they take care of you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. You walk in there. I've been talking to a lot of those guys, and a customer walks by or whoever it might be, and they just jump right on it to help them with anything. Tell them a spot, a lure, whatever you might need.
Yeah, definitely go check out Everhart's Outdoors in Clinton, Missouri. If you ain't been there, then you are missing out. That's for sure.
Seriously though, other than OMTC, south of Springfield, I don't know of another place, relatively, or in Missouri that has as much kayak stuff on top of their fishing stuff and hunting.
Yeah, for sure. You go up there and like they're accessories, for the kayaks. You don't find that anywhere else. You're just straight kayak shops. You don't find those accessories.
It's like a family-owned Bass Pro. Like if a family owned a Bass Pro shop, that's Everhart's.
Yeah.
And they've been in business for what, over 50, 75 years now?
Yeah.
Since 1950 or something. I don't know, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. They do it right for sure.
Yeah. If they've been in business that long, then they're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's exciting. Excited for you, Brandon. Hopefully this weekend goes for you well, man. Hopefully you can stack up some AOI points.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get that last good finish in there and see if I can finish her up top. going into the championship, make a run at it.
You know, fishing as much rivers as you have, I'm sure you've shuttled quite a bit. What do you think about the championship being on one section of a river?
Yeah, so honestly, I didn't know that. I haven't looked at that part yet.
Surprise!
Yeah, so I'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Gasconade. You can fish anywhere you want on the Gasconade, and the award ceremony is going to be hosted by Ruby's Landing. So
there we go. Yeah, so I knew it was up there. I just didn't know it was just on the Gasconade, but Gasconade's a long, long river, so
that's why I picked it. I figured there's about one of the rivers we could all spread out on.
Yeah, there's plenty of options. Might be a race trying to cover water, but we'll get it done.
Odds are you guys will all be at the same launch.
Ruby's Landing, I think they're doing the haunted Halloween floats too at the same time. So if anybody's going to be there for the championship and camping out, I think you can do the haunted floats. I think they're running those already. So that'll be something cool to do.
Yeah, that could be fun after.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Brandon. Good luck the rest of this year, man. Appreciate you being on here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Josh, what else you got, man?
That's it, man. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate you coming on here, dude. Have a good one, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, Brandon Prince. That dude is on fire right now. I tell you what, him and Lance are a force to be reckoned with in Missouri.
If he finishes like he did last year, it's gonna get hotter.
Yeah, and I got some of the bling out behind me too.
Watch out.
This is what everybody's after right here.
Woo!
Yep. It's bigger than me. Angler of the year right here, you know. That's what everybody's fighting. We've only got one event left with Palm de Terre. So the final drop's going to go down, and we're going to crown a new Angler of the Year. I mean, it's pretty close right now. Dorman and Chad, they're kind of out there by themselves right now. I don't know how it's going to look after a drop. I don't know. Lance and Ty and Morgan. Morgan's not going to be able to make it. He's got to take the ACT for college. So good for him. He's doing the right thing. But
I know. I know.
It's killing. I know Morgan's probably dying that he's got to worry about school instead of this tournament. But he's had a great season, and I'm sure we'll see him out in force next year too. But yeah, not only are they going to get that trophy, but Angler of the Year is going to take home $1,000 to go with that trophy, as well as qualifying for the All-American KBF National Championship, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out. Is a rookie going to take it? Is Dorman going to be a 3-time AOI? Is somebody going to come up out of nowhere, and do really good at Palm de Terre? Oh, man, it's going to be cool to see.
Are we going to have a Rookie of the Year and AOI of the Year in the same person? Like, that's possible too?
It's never happened before, but it's possible. Yeah, it could be. Chad could make history.
It'll be really cool next year to see that AOI with that ring too.
Yep, I'm going to get that championship ring to go with it and join the club of the champions. The online AOI, I mean, that's going pretty tight right now too. It was a really close race. You were catching up there in second place to Dorman. Dorman had a pretty good lead, but he didn't sign up for this month. So
Dorman, what are you doing, man? Gosh.
So that's going to leave the door wide open for several people to come in this month, in the month of September. This September online is going to probably determine who's going to win the online Angler of the Year.
Yep.
And that person's going to also get a trophy and qualify for the All-American Kayak Classic as well too.
Joe and I are good buddies, and I was talking to him. I'm like, man, I think you and I have a really good shot at winning it. And he's like, nah, you'll get it. And I'm like, man, I could bomb. Like, I can just not catch another fish and be screwed. But it'll be fun to watch this monthly.
Yeah, good luck, man. It's going to be a battle. I mean, that's what's cool about the end of the season. We're at the end of the season now. Everything's going to start falling into place. Guys that are in that top 5, I bet you're already crunching numbers and already figured out your lowest score and know what place you got to get and who you got to beat in order to move up the standings. I mean, I did it. I mean, I knew the AOI points, but as soon as I left the lake and going home, I was crunching numbers. I was like, oh man, where am I at? I gotta know. So I bet a lot of people are doing that too, especially with this being our last event at Palm de Terre. I think we found a good place at Palmy for our award ceremony where we'll have some decent signal. We're going to be up at the dam up there at the Overlook Park. We're going to be at the lower pavilion. There's like an upper and a lower. There's like 3 of them in that area. One's on the other side of the road. We're going to be by the one that's closest to the water. So find the one going down by the water. We're going to be down there. I've got that one reserved. Verizon is decent. AT&T should work, but it's not as good. So I think we'll be okay. That was all I was looking for was signal when for this location, because Palm de Terre is horrible for cell service. I mean, so bad I almost don't want to go back there next year. So I mean, I guess we'll see how everybody likes it. But if you're having problems finding cell service and this is your first time going to Palmy, up by the dam is a really high hill. Sometimes you can get some signal up there. I mean, literally up on the dam. If you want to go down south, if you're at the southern end of the lake, Bolivar, the city of Bolivar, I think it's only like 20 minutes from the southern end of the lake. Not that far of a drive really, but you can find signal and Wi-Fi there for sure. That's going to be your best bet. So if you haven't been there before and you don't know where to go, those are 2 places. Lightfoot Landing Park, I've had service there before too. So, but yeah, cell service is going to be a serious issue on Palmy. So prepare for it. If you're fishing there, make sure you've got time. I actually extended the deadline for check-in to an hour and a half. So everyone's got an hour and a half to get from lines out time to get off the water and go find signal. So hopefully that's enough time for everybody to get squared away. And then we'll have the awards. Still planning on doing the crawfish boil. Still on track. We're going to do a little Cajun food.
That was good last year too.
Yep. As long as the crawdads are still there, we'll be having them.
Well, we talked about AOI and Palmy and this being the last event. Josh posted up on the Facebook page the Sportsman of the Year. Who was it? Gosh, why did I just –
Jay Harmon won it last year.
Jay Harmon. He won it last year. Great honor. Guys, get on there. Nominate somebody. If someone threw you a bait or, I don't know, did scratch your back for you, whatever, get on there and nominate them. Vote for them. If there's other guys that that have, Troy Inkey's a prime example with all the web stuff that he does. Get on there. So, put some names out there. Make sure and vote. Get on there and vote. If you got friends or family, invite them to the page and let them vote too. But just let's show our support. That's as much as it is, winning AOI. I'd be honored if I won Sportsman of the Year. It's just another cool way to show who we are as kayak anglers and to nominate someone that may they may not win a tournament this year, but they've gone above and beyond for MoYak.
Yeah, we've got several guys in MoYak that meet that requirement, almost everyone actually. So the post is up. Go ahead and vote, nominate, vote. And then once everybody's done, we'll give it about a week or 2. And then we'll take the top 5 guys and we'll put them into another polling platform, a website, and everybody can vote. And we'll keep it a little more private. So, and then we'll announce the winner at the championship. The Missouri State Championship in November on Table Rock at Indian Point. That's when we're going to do all of our awards for the year. So everyone will be honored at the championship. The state champions are going to be crowned. The AOI is going to be crowned. The team trail champions, they're going to get recognized. Everybody's going to get their goodies. We're going to combine the state championship into the giant award ceremony there at the pavilion at Indian Point. So that's where it's all going to end up at November 2nd, I believe. November 1st.
I think it was the 6th, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'll see. Pull it up real quick. I don't want to say the wrong date. Yeah, you're right. November 6th.
Yep. And that's a 2-day event, correct?
Yep. That's right. The Team Trail champions. You can see them. Oh, looky right back there. Championship belts are ready to go for the Team Trail champions again. I mean, that's that's a pretty tight race too. The Bass Banditos and the Bass Bums and the Furious Drum Snatchers, the Chatter Boys, the Bream, man, all those, oh man, those teams are all neck and neck. Anybody can take this, so it's going to be big at Palmy to see who's going to be the top team. Wow, I just noticed that.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So, Josh, you going fishing this weekend for the river tournament?
No, I'm going to stay home and just judge and watch you guys have fun. I would like to, but
I think you need to take a weekend off for one of our live events and come fish, man. That's what I think.
I've tried a couple times and it gets.
I'll trade you one weekend. I'll help you do everything, get everything ready, and then you just fish, and that'll be my drop.
All right, sounds good. Looks like Patrick. He ditched AT&T. Yeah, AT&T is getting ridiculous. I've got AT&T too, and sometimes I get so frustrated when I see people on their phones and I can't get a single bar and I can't do anything. And Verizon guys, they've got signal, so Verizon is definitely the way to go if you're looking to have the better cell service from your phone, for sure. Yep. That's proven across the country.
I've got Verizon. I love it. I can't complain.
I need to get it. I'm still in the Stone Age with AT&T, I guess.
Josh, man, what else we got going on?
Man, I think that's about it. The River AOI, we've got what makes it a little different is the championship's going to be worth 1.5 points. So the championship is going to count towards points, and for winning that Feel Free Kayak, the Sea Stream Angler 120. So we're going to do all that at Ruby's Landing as well, crown the River AOI and the River Team AOIs as well. And I forgot to mention that, Tear 'em Up Fishing, Mark Collier, he's been working on some really, really cool trophies for those too. So that's going to be sweet too.
Definitely a series to watch. I think it's a great job this year, and I think that one's going to grow next year. And see, the guys are on the river when they start out typically. I know I was, and so I think that is definitely a spot to jump in and learn some kayak fishing.
Yep, rivers are fun to float, and they're a lot cooler to be on in the summertime. So, win-win.
Absolutely.
Well, that's about all I got. I don't see any other questions. Coming up next, River Tournament East Saturday, and then after that, we got Palm to Tear.
And then we get into championship month.
Then we go championship time.
It'll be a good time. Well, Josh, man, it was good seeing you. Appreciate what you're doing. We all do. Can't say that enough, man.
Thanks. Yep, appreciate you too, brother. We'll see you soon. See you everybody else too.
Later. Thanks, guys.